Los Angeles, California. New York City, New York. Memphis, Tennessee. Seattle, Washington. Omaha, Nebraska.
What?
All right. To be fair, Omaha is not the first place you think of when you think of great music. But let me tell you something. The Omaha area is crawling with fantastic musicians. You can walk into any club, any night of the week, and hear some amazing musicians that you've never heard of. And neither has anyone else. You know, we're all about bringing you the finest original musicians in their natural habitats. I'm your host, Moose Epperson. Please join me as we check out some more great music that's just lost in Omaha.
Yeah, this is the funny thing about this song. This song is all about a reconnection of a relationship that came back that I thought was gone, and I assumed that it would be what it didn't turn out to be at the time. So it's called Frozen Dreams. There are times I've often wondered, just thinking about those days, and would we ever be together, and would our hearts still believe? And there are times I've often wondered, just thinking about those days, and how our souls surrendered, and why'd you ever leave? Through a night I thought I heard you were calling out my name, now only to learn and be lonely again. Well, that's how it felt, that's how it seemed. When most of my nights I feel so caught in frozen dreams. The frozen and unchosen. The frozen and heart still broken. The frozen times I've often wondered, just thinking about those days, and would we ever be together, and would our hearts still believe? Through a night I thought I heard you were calling out my name, now only to learn and be lonely again. Well, that's how it felt, that's how it seemed. Most of my nights I feel so caught in frozen dreams. Now frozen and unchosen, the frozen, and heart still broken.
All right, John, thanks for joining us on the show, man. We really appreciate you playing along.
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Just got a couple of questions for you that we're all dying to know the answer to.
All righty.
How would you describe your musical style?
Well, I come from a background of roots of bluegrass. My father taught me at a very early age how to play bluegrass, and I used to make puns about that. I come from a part of the country, if you throw a banjo in the air and the first guy who catches it can play it. So, yeah. So my roots are very, very old-time folky country and bluegrass music.
Can you name a musician or a band that you admire and tell us why?
You know, that's another good question, because I think obviously people would just say the Beatles, which, yeah, but I think my time and generation, it probably would have had to been the band. That group of guys each had a part. They knew their parts, and you just go back and look at them and watch them perform, and that was what I always dreamed of, having a band. It would be like that group.
Who are your biggest influences musically?
That's always a funny question, because I know that people who know me well just assume Dan Fogelberg, but probably one of my earliest and biggest idol was Michael Martin Murphey. I think when I heard Wildfire, I went, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to sound like that. This song is probably about a reconnection of just probably time. I don't have any other explanations for the song other than it came to me, I was playing it, and I decided that I own it. Well, it's raining this evening, it's cold and it's dark. I'm all by myself, but I don't feel alone. 'Cause somewhere in the darkness there's light all around, a passage of love that's seldom found. Now somewhere, oh now somewhere, oh now somewhere out there, somewhere out there. And somewhere inside us, a voice that is calling, stronger and stronger, but we keep denying. And down deep inside us, a fire it is burning, higher and higher, and our hearts keep longing for somewhere, oh now somewhere, oh Lord, somewhere out there, somewhere out there. Well, it's raining this evening, it's cold and it's dark. I'm all by myself, but I don't feel alone. 'Cause somewhere in the darkness there's light all around, a passage of love that I have just found. Now somewhere, oh now somewhere, oh now somewhere out there, somewhere out there.
In addition to being an accomplished musician, you are also a luthier of note.
I am.
Now, for our friends who are watching that don't have any idea what a luthier is, it doesn't mean that John's the devil. It means that he repairs and restores and designs stringed instruments. Now, did you play before you built, or did you build before you played?
No, I did. My daddy taught me how to play at a very early age. Again, it was the first thing that I remember really hearing him playing, and he was a very accomplished musician. That I can, again, I don't think I could ever be what my father was music-wise. And I remember hearing him play, and he played in bands, kind of bar country bands. So, yeah, I was playing very early. I built later. That probably came a good 15 years later. Yeah.
You know, you are quite the historian, having gotten involved in the preservation of the Benson District here in Omaha. What drew you towards this?
Again, my background, where I come from, the southern tip of Missouri, everything is old. It was it was new to us, but yeah, I think when it seemed like everybody was old when I was little. And they lived in old homes and old furniture and old cars and old ways, you know. Traditionally, everything was old.
A sense of value.
Yeah, and I never got that out of it. And like my whole lineage was based on people still working with their hands. And I think even at that time, that had gone away, 50 years prior to that. Of course, we didn't know that, but I do believe that, and I have a passion, just a deep passion that draws me to things that are old. I don't care the condition as long as it has history.
Well, what does the preservation of this kind of history do for us today? What does it have to teach us?
It's a reminder of who we were. It's to let us get a glimpse of the past, of how we became who we are.
Well, what advice would you give to an up-and-coming songwriter trying to make their mark on the Omaha scene today?
Well, that's curious to say, because I think Omaha again is a good spot to cultivate. There are agents here. We've had many performers come out of this part of the country, again, from theater to people like Conor Oberst, people like 311, just many bands who've cultivated. What is it, Buddy Miles, right? Out of Omaha, Nebraska. Sure. Here. Some of the roots of the blues, believe it or not, have come from this part. I think Omaha is probably just as good now with the type of communication we have with the internet. Everything that the internet has provided now gets it out there. And I think Omaha is a wonderful place to grow right here and expand.
Right.
This song comes from, probably just new parenting, where you don't really have a clue what you're supposed to do. Okay? They seem to be directing you on some journey of how to deal with this thing that you've just created. And I found that I had no choice in the matter. He would cling on to me, and I'd be dragging him through the house. And I remember one day thinking, wow, These little arms are driving me crazy. So that's where this song comes from. And it's called Little Bitty Arms. He's playing the drums with a bow and a spoon. I'm watching TV, not just some old cartoons. Well, ain't it funny? Now what those little people will do. He's chasing a cat with a ping pong paddle. You can't ride a dog without a dog saddle, little boy. You're gonna learn that. Now Jimmy the Cricket and Donald the Duck, they're only alive in the storybooks. Now little boy, you're gonna learn this. And I turn to see those little bitty arms reached out and grabbed me. A great big smile that said, Daddy, please hold me. Bright blue eyes and you had your mother's nose. A beautiful life, I said everything was something. Cat and a dog, there was always fussing. Oh, these were the things that kept me on my toes. That old guitar and a pocket full of rainbows, smile on my face, and everybody knowed that little bitty arms they never wanted to let go. He's up all night with a tummy ache. He finally goes to sleep about 8:45. Now little boy, for heaven's sakes, he's painting a picture of the man in the moon. I'm reading him a story about Winnie the Pooh. Now little boy, I'm getting so tired. You're growing up as fast as you can, and take your time and understand you're not alone. Well, I'll be by your side. And when you grow up, we'll talk about those little bitty arms that reached out and grabbed me. Great big smile that said, Daddy, please hold me. Bright blue eyes and you had your mother's nose. That beautiful life, I said everything was something. Cat and a dog, that was always fussing. Oh, these were the things that kept me on my toes. That old guitar and a pocket full of rainbows, smile on my face, and everybody know that those little bitty arms never wanted to let go. Yeah, and those little bitty arms